I'm fascinated by painting, but I'm terrified by painting. I don't know how you finish a painting. Whereas my sculptures kind of stop themselves. They find a logical end. The flowers, or the apples, or the candles even, the clay, all of these things, when you come to the gallery, you'll hopefully be aware that something has happened before and something is going to happen afterwards. Also, because Turner Contemporary is still free, means I hope that local residents will make multiple visits. 99% of the show is all being recreated for the exhibition. I'm using this space as a studio, as a workshop, which questions what a gallery is. I'd say the work's all site-determined rather than site-specific. We have chosen works that will have a particular resonance by being in Kent, by being in Thanet. Kent is historically known as the fruit basket of England. So just really playing with that and thinking about agriculture, industry, commercial enterprise, how labor's changing, how industrialization is kind of changing many of these processes, which were initially obviously done by hand. So I've kind of got a combination of using craft materials, craft processes. So like the hop twine is a material that used to be used a lot in Kent in terms of stringing up, preparing for the hops to grow. So I'm interested in seriality and repetition. We're making a huge, huge piece of macrame. So it's one knot, it's a square knot, repeated over and over and over again, and there's multiple people making this. So whilst the knot is the same knot, everyone's hand is different. I'm obsessed with apples. I've been on a lot of things with apples. Apples, I think, are such a potent symbol. Most people have an idea about what an apple is. There's going to be an apple curtain using commercially produced apples. So you'll have this kind of curtain of color, it becomes a still life, a vanitas. The apples will change over time, they're going to shrink and shrivel up. And right at the end, there's a very messy operation where we're going to excavate the pips from the pulp. And as part of the Apple a Day school project, we will try and germinate some of those seeds with the hope of maybe introducing them to this huge orchard, which I'm making, which I'm really excited about. The curtain is the beginning point of the orchard, and the orchard is the kind of logical conclusion of that work. I think of apple trees as sculptures in the sense that they're constructed. You have to maintain them. By pruning them, you shape them to open up the crown, to give them enough light for the fruit. Another material we're using is chalk. With the Dean Hole, which is really exciting, this strange underground man-made cave, we assume this is an underground quarry. It was quite hard to kind of fathom the shape of it, the space of it. So what we've done is we did a LiDAR scan where you bounce light beams around in the space, and essentially it plots a digital map of the hole, of all the negative space. And so I'm using that to fill in, return the chalk. So the big 3D printer extruder that I've made will be extruding a mixture of chalk and clay mixed with porcelain to extrude the form that we scanned. So it's sort of building the whole in positive back to front. So the show's called Preserve, which is partially from one of the kind of my signature works, Preserve, which are the flower pieces, the gerbera pieces. It's a kind of paradox, like what does it mean to you and what am I preserving? I'm not really preserving anything in a way, but I'm hopefully starting conversations about what that might mean. It's not about looking backwards. I'm not interested in being romantic or sentimental about the past. But I feel you just see cycles repeating and repeating and repeating themselves. I think maybe we can learn some things from the past. We can make them better now. We have more technology to refine them. There's some amazing things were discovered and maybe abandoned. And maybe that, again, to do with global warming, unemployment, immigration. Maybe some of these ideas are things that could be revisited in terms of what we think of as important. And with all these materials, clay, chalk, wax, they're all materials that go back to art making. So they all have this other conversation going on about the history of art, about skill, about labor. It isn't that I have a planned outcome. I'm more interested in setting off a kind of process, having a kind of score, if you like, and then seeing what happens. Of course, I have some kind of notion about what a material might do, but I don't have any control over it.